Hey, this is Bruce Boudreau, and you're listening to Empty Betters with Nick, Mack, and Harrison.
Good morning to everybody, and welcome to episode 169 of Empty Betters. I'm your host, Harrison Scholes. I'm going to toss it across the screen to my co-host, Nick Manella. How are we feeling tonight, my friend?
We are feeling good, fired up that it's round two. Boys, real quick, just before we dive into anything, I have to say that had to be one of the best first rounds I've seen in my entire life.
Was definitely electric. I think we only had one series end in 5. Everything else was 6 or more games.
Yep.
So pretty tightly contested. I am now going to toss it across the screen to my other co-host up in Milwaukee, Mac Vogel. What's going on, my friend?
Not much. What's going on, y'all? Thanks for tuning in on this probably Wednesday or later evening when you're checking us out. But as always, appreciate the listens. We're here to talk some hockey like we are every time. So we're pumped. Round two, part two.
Yeah, super excited. We'll very quickly wrap up round one with all the games that happened since we last spoke, and then we will get on to our round two predictions. But before we do, obviously, if you have listened a couple times at this point, you know that we have the question of the day, which is brought to you by Brackish Life. If you're like us and grew up on the water and outdoors, then Brackish Life is perfect for you. They have a wide selection of gear from UV shirts to hoodies and hats. It is Real Bay apparel made by Real Bay people. Head to www.brackish.life today to check them out. A little salty, a little fresh. Brackish Life. All right. Mac, QOTD.
Boys, I cooked up something so good for the QOTD this episode. And I want to apologize. I feel like last week was a little weak. The whole floor is lava thing, not my best work. We're coming back strong this week, and it's going to be a little bit of a different format than maybe you guys are used to. So I'm basically going to ask an overarching question, and then we're going to kind of just like bang, 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 go through a few different scenarios that you guys will basically just say yes or no to. Okay. It's going to be really easy, really fun. And for once, it has to do with hockey. So let's jump in. For your team to be guaranteed, so Penguins, Caps, for the Penguins or the Capitals to be guaranteed one more Stanley Cup in the Crosby or Ovechkin era, right? Respectively. I want to know what kind of minor and major, we'll get to major, but we're going to start with minor inconveniences you'd be willing to endure. Okay. So I have a list here of some pretty good ones, and they start relatively minor, and I'm sure you're probably going to say yes because we're all diehards here. And then we'll see how far we can get where all three of us are still willing to go through what I say for your team to win another Stanley Cup. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love that you have a list ready. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And so in this scenario, if you say no, you're guaranteeing your team does not win another Stanley Cup.
Okay.
During the Ovi Crosby era. Okay. All right. So we're going to start with minor inconvenience. Harry for the Penguins, Nick for the Caps, myself for the Caps. If you're listening, plug in whatever your favorite team is. Okay. For your team to win another cup, would you be willing to sleep without pillows for a year?
Yes.
Damn, that's brutal, but yeah, I'd do it. One more, yeah.
I also would. It would suck a lot. You would probably end up with some back and neck problems. I'm going to do it anyway, though.
I have a follow-up question.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to substitute other things for pillows?
What, like sweatshirt or some shit?
Yeah, can I like ball up a sweatshirt or something?
Sure, why not?
Okay, yeah, I'm doing it.
Do that. Yeah, it's easy.
Cool. All right, next. Every flight you take gets significantly delayed or canceled for a year.
Oh my God.
A lot of these are based on 1 year, and then the team would win the cup the following year.
Define significantly delayed.
Like 3 hours or more,
or
straight up canceled. But the thing is, you can never just not go to the airport because you don't know if it's going to be one of the ones that gets straight up canceled or if it's just delayed for like 3-4 hours.
Oh, that's my biggest.
I feel like
I thought of Harry when I thought of this.
I feel like sitting here now thinking about it, I would say yes. And the second I'm in an airport and it happens, I would say no.
I mean, I'm definitely doing it. I'm 100% doing it. I actually kind of like airports. It's one of my craziest, most toxic
I guess
traits.
you could just like bop around. And if
Yeah,
am I
like,
like doing
what's
this
it
under
to
the
me?
impression that I'm like, okay, this flight is getting canceled because I'm gonna win the Stanley Cup
I
this
mean,
year?
I guess in your head, you know that, but I think in this scenario, it's more of like a delusional thing where you believe it and
Okay.
no one else believes you, but then eventually it does happen, but people think there was no correlation.
So
You
it's
know
like
what I mean?
being a Rangers fan.
Yes.
Okay.
But you know what I mean? You're telling people, you're like, hey, I
But
know
we're gonna
my
win
flight
the
got
Stanley
canceled.
Cup,
And they're like,
actually.
yeah, okay, buddy. And then they win a year later and you're like, see? And they're like, yeah, that wasn't why though. But
the
you
eu-
know it was.
the euphoria of winning the fourth and ending it there is much stronger than the inconvenience. So I'm down. Let's do it.
I'm gonna
Cool.
go ahead and say yes.
We're all still in. Great. All right. So 25% of the time you get on the highway, you get pulled over and you get a ticket for something.
Oh my god!
Whether it's
Ruthless.
fucking tail light, license plate, tag.
So can I ask?
speeding,
Can I ask a question? Because
Yeah.
this might affect my answer. So
Let's go.
when you say they win another cup, if I know they're going to win the cup, I'll go theoretically bankrupt to be at the game live to witness them hoist it, or no?
I mean, that's not really like you
Like-
don't know when it's gonna be. It's gonna be like maybe the following year. Maybe it'll happen before Crosby retires.
But I know it's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Pull me over. That would suck. That's also-
25% of the time, 1 in 4 times you're on the highway.
Bro, if I know, because here's the thing, they go.
Honestly,
the final
I'm
game
gonna
one
take
more
it because
time.
I live out in the sticks anyway. So getting on the highway,
Take a lot
for
of
me,
back roads anyway.
yeah, sign me up.
It would suck, be expensive too, but
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Okay, next. Insomnia for a year.
Oh,
No,
already got that, baby. Next.
I'm out. Not
Yeah.
sorry.
I'm still doing it.
I'm
Harry, we
a
lost
crookie.
you?
I'm
I
a
get
crook,
like
dude.
2
Listen,
hours
I'm
of
saying
sleep a night,
more-
boys.
I'm not
a
saying it's
problem.
like necessarily that drastic. I'm saying every night or almost every night you maybe wake up at least once and like have some trouble getting back to sleep. There's like I'm not saying you're like up all night every night, but I'm saying like
Nope.
you know, that's
Nope. I am too much
Harry,
of a koala bear.
we're still in the minor inconveniences section. This isn't even one of the
That's major
ones.
for me, dude.
Okay.
I am a complete
Okay.
asshole when I don't sleep. You guys would
right.
not like me.
All right, next. This is one of my favorites. You're not allowed to have eyebrows for a year, but your team wins the cup.
I do that.
That's
But
like
I'm out.
half my face.
Do you know how
The other half
weird
is
you would
the
look?
nose.
Think for a second about how fucking stupid you would look.
Do you let them grow back, or you have to keep shaving them?
No, you have to shave that. Even anytime there's even remotely some hair above your eyes, you got to shave it.
So my face is just like bald.
Your face. I mean, you can have facial hair if you want. It might make it
I
look.
feel
even
like that would
weirder.
just be worse. I feel
Yes,
like I should,
I'd
you
probably
cannot
dro-
have eyebrows for a year.
I'm
honestly,
being realistic here.
if I'm already getting pulled over and my flights are delayed, why not at this point? So
I mean,
just,
it's one or the other. They're not all happening at the same time. But I'm also gonna do it.
I mean, you guys know me. I've had some pretty dumb haircuts. I've done some other dumb stuff that is going to hang around for a while. So,
See,
you know, that doesn't really bother me all that much.
I'd like to consult one of my dad's philosophies. He says this to me and my sister all the time, and I think it's a great piece of advice. You can do anything for a year. So if I can,
That's fair.
If I can move to LA for a year, I think I can shave my eyebrows for a year.
As long as they're going to grow back at some point,
They'll grow back
I'll
as soon as 365 days have passed. You no longer have to shave them, and they'll be normal after that.
I would do it.
I would
I'd
also
grow back thicker. I would do that, but I'm out. So
no, I mean you can keep saying
Okay.
whether you
Okay.
do. I'll allow
Okay.
that. All right, next we're almost there's 2 more minors and then we're getting into the majors. So jury duty once a month and you get selected every time.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
It like once I get selected, is there any way to get out of it, or like you're in for the duration?
You're in for the duration of the
Sign
case.
me up. At least I
The
get out
case
of
is
work.
the case is different every
Yeah,
time.
still
It
get
might
paid.
be it might be
Yeah.
2 days, it might be 2 weeks, but you get selected every time and you're in until the end of the trial every time.
Yeah,
Not
sign me
working.
up.
I'm in. Yeah.
Don't have to go to
I'm
the
also
office.
down.
Might
I'm
as
also
well.
fine with that. Okay, how about this is the last minor inconvenience. Every time you order food at a restaurant for a year, something is wrong with it, whether it's like the bread on your sandwich is over toasted and burnt, burger undercooked, pasta overcooked, way too salty, no flavor, whatever it is, your food's fucked up every time you order food at a restaurant.
I feel like I could live with that. Like I worked in the restaurant industry. I feel like I would not like cause.
And you
I
can't
mean,
send it back. You can't.
yeah,
like,
which I would never do anyways. I
Right.
wouldn't cause a scene or anything, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
can
I'm
do
also a decent cook at home, so
I was gonna say I enjoyed cooking. I could do
Yeah.
that.
Okay, cool. Now let's move on to the major inconveniences. And most of these have been grouped into the major category because they affect your health directly. So
Oh my god.
that should be fun. Let's jump into that. Number one, drink only liquids for a year, no solids.
oh,
Like you can't
Now,
eat. You
now
have
we
to
get to find out how psychotic of a fan we
so
all
like I can't eat anything. So every food I eat would essentially be in like milkshake
blend.
form.
Yeah, you
I'm
can eat
fine with
whatever you
that,
want,
'cause
but
you
you
guys
gotta
know
blend it and drink it.
I'm a milkshake slut. Like, I mean,
Or you
we
can
went through that
like,
once already.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, you can have protein shakes, you can have soup as long as there's no solids in it. You cannot
You
even
are lying if you
Does
say
like
you're doing
are you
this.
like
You're
are
lying.
you're telling me like Campbell's chicken noodle soup and I have to take the noodles out?
Yep, you gotta blend it until it's like fully liquid.
with the chicken.
I think I would just
So if
have
you're doing
like,
soup, you probably just need to have like tomato broth or like
or like chicken
You're
broth.
lying if you're saying you do this.
I'm
There's
doing
no
it.
way.
I'm
Oh
doing
my
them.
God.
No, because I wouldn't do
Kobe
soup.
Cup,
I
I'll
would just
do
do
it. I don't
protein
care.
shakes or drink Ensure every day
1
for the rest
year,
of my
you
life.
can do anything for a year.
I would be 30,000 pounds, but I also better get season tickets in my own
I'll
row
figure
for the
it
rest of
out.
my life.
A year's not that long. I'll figure it out.
I'm a foodie.
Plus,
I'd give
Mac
up
is
there.
still young enough to the point where this wouldn't affect him all that much.
Oh, fuck you guys.
I am not doing that. Sorry.
Harry really said, sue me. I'm a foodie. Sue me.
I'm not. I love food too much. Can't do it.
All right. All right. We're about to get real. You guys ready to get real? All right. I can't believe I thought of all this shit. All right. Professional wrestler breaks both of your legs on the same day.
Like, that would be insanely painful, but if
And then
my
you-
boys
and then
are
you
going to
go
go
through
out
all the
there,
recovery, like your legs are both going to heal at the same time, you know,
Is
because
it?
happened on the same day.
Does he break him again?
No,
Like-
it's just once on the same
which
day.
professional wrestler?
Oh my God.
I don't know, the best one.
The best.
The scariest
So,
one.
Stone Cold
I'd be-
Steve Austin.
I have no idea.
I'd
I
be
don't know
fine.
shit
I-
Well,
about
if
could
I
deal
get
with
to
that.
walk around and say Stone Cold Steve Austin slammed me over a pillar and broke both of my legs, I feel like, one, that's a little bit of street cred
I already
there.
broke my left kneecap once. I'm probably doing this. I mean, it can't get that much worse for the left knee.
Plus, is it bad
Right
that
one
like
already kind of sucks anyway.
my rationale with this one is, hey, if my boys are going to go out there and lay down in front of pucks, the least I can do is have a wrestler break my legs.
Oh,
I
I
feel-
should mention that, like, I think I kind of alluded to this earlier, but nobody has any idea that you get the credit for this, right? Like, you're the only one that thinks this correlates to them winning the cup.
I
And
could
you're-
break both my
No,
legs.
it does. But like, it's not like the whole Capitals fan base is like, yo, you're a hero for doing that so that our boys could win the cup. Absolutely not.
So it's not like they're going to be like, you have tickets for life.
No, they
Okay.
think you're fucking insane for thinking that you breaking your legs correlates to them winning a cup. But they do. But then even once they do, everyone's like, yeah, that's not why. But it is.
You're an unsung hero.
Yes.
Okay. I
I'm
think I'm
fine with
I'm still doing it.
I'll
All
break
right.
my legs. That's fine.
I'm also doing it. We got a couple
heal.
more here. On a similar vein, and this one's a little scarier in my opinion. A professional boxer unleashes on you as hard as he can for a 3-minute round or until you're KO'd.
No.
I would
I'd have permanent brain damage.
I would
Yeah.
let Mike Tyson punch me in the face just to say I took a punch from Mike Tyson, but the guy would
3-minute
like,
round.
the
Three
guy would
minute-
and it's
no
as
3
hard as
minutes
he
is
can.
like 3 minutes is like 6 hours in a boxing match.
Yeah, I'm
But you
good.
can defend yourself. You
No,
just,
I can't.
Yeah, no, you can't. You think
I
you
don't know,
can.
boys.
You
I don't
think
know.
you
Not a professional boxer would wait you out, open you up, and one
A
punch.
heavyweight pro
you would just
boxer
be
would-
done in one punch.
you'd
Okay,
have
but
organ
realistically,
bleeding.
I've only had like 1.5, maybe 2 concussions in my life. One more, right? One more.
You take one of the
One
spleen
more
internal
really
bleeding.
bad one. I'm fucked for maybe a month or something, right? But then my boys hoist Lord Stanley a year later.
3 minutes is like, that dude's gonna put you in a coma. That dude's not gonna knock you out.
You might
Like,
not see the cup.
You're gonna miss the cup. Yeah.
I told you we're about to find out
Like
how psychotic
they bring the
affects
cup
you
to
all.
the hospital and you've got pictures of you holding it, but you're just like weekend at
You
Bernie's,
do
like
not remember
comatose
it.
the whole
Yeah.
time.
Nick,
All
what's your
right.
final answer?
I'm not doing that. 3
Yeah, I'm
minutes
not
is
doing that.
absolute bloodbath.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
I'm gonna do it. All right. Next question. I think I have two more here. Let's see. Yeah, two more. You get shot in the foot.
Nope.
You end up okay, but your foot is probably never quite the same again.
I'd definitely rather get shot than stabbed, but I feel like getting shot in the foot would really, really hurt a lot.
Yeah, no.
I actually don't think this one's that bad.
Oh my God.
Your foot's never the same, dude.
I mean,
Okay, follow-up question. Like, what are we talking here? Are we talking like 22?
Shotgun?
Or are we
Yeah,
talking
like-
are we putting like a slug in my foot or
Barrett
no.
50 cal.
Yeah,
no, it's a fucking bullet, man.
yeah,
Pistol.
like
I don't know.
9mm? Okay.
Your
blows your
buddy
foot
does
off.
it. It's not like some like dude like robs you. It's like you literally hand a gun to your friend and you're like, you have to shoot me in the foot, and you beg him to do it until he's like, okay. You're
The crazy thing is, my friend would just be like, "Yeah, okay, yeah. When are we doing this?" Like,
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, though. No.
I don't want to get shot in the foot. I love my
I'm doing
boys,
it.
but like,
I'm doing it.
do you know how painful that would be?
I don't.
It's not.
'cause
It's
I've
not like
never
the
I
movie.
don't-
It's not
don't.
like the
That's why-
movies where
which
you
is
get
probably
like,
why I'm willing to do it.
where
Yeah.
you get shot and you just fall over and you're shocked. Like, that's not how it works.
All right, what's the
I-
last one?
All right, the
What's
last one for all the marbles, even though you guys have already tapped out, I'm the one who's still in this technically. You go to federal prison for a year. Anything happens to you, nothing, you're not immune from anything happening to you in there. And then you get out. You're not going to get killed, though. You're not going to get killed in prison.
But everything that
Anything
prison
else is fair
entails.
game.
I think I'd
Yeah.
rather be killed.
Yeah.
And then you get out, and then they win the cup the following year.
Nope.
But like, I have a prison record.
No, that's not part of it. It's like
Okay.
they tell all the other inmates you're in there for like a normal reason, but they know that you're there because you signed up to do it. But you
Okay,
get
no.
treated like a normal prisoner.
I don't think I would do that.
No, I'd go insane. The mental trauma of that experience is not worth it. You can also tell who has seen this
For a
trophy
year, you
hoisted.
guys, I don't know. There's like libraries in prison and stuff like that. And like,
That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
selling
There's,
point
like,
here.
I don't know.
Yeah, that-
It's not like
you read you read
There's
books.
there's like gyms. Maybe I'll get like ripped.
Yeah.
That's true. I could just like get
I'll be sober
absolutely
for a year.
shredded.
That'll be good for me.
No,
I
come
mean,
on, baby. We making toilet wine.
I
Or
am not
like
going to
Philly
jail.
Leotardo. When I do my 20
Uh,
years, I'll have a grilled cheese on the radiator.
there
You might as
go.
well tie. You could tie into this. You like going to jail is literally like a 4-in-1 question. No pillows. Beat by a boxer. Probably shot
Yeah.
in the foot. Point.
Stabbed in the foot.
Yeah,
With-
stabbed in
with
the
like
foot.
with like a paper clip.
And then insomnia. Yeah, you got all 4. So you just did a 4-for-1.
Well, I already signed up for all those other ones, so I
This
guess
is
I'm
like the
only real fan
most
here.
fun summer camp ever.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you though.
All right,
I'll,
well, this has been our longest QOTD segment, but I think it was a good one. I guess I'm the only real hockey fan here because I didn't say no to anything.
You heard it here
Um,
first. Matt gets shot in the foot. Caps win the Stanley Cup.
Exactly. So,
All
word.
right.
That was fun.
That
Good
was
job,
fun.
boys.
No, that was well thought of. Thank you for making the list because I feel like that could have gone really off the rails if it was an open ender. So appreciate that. Good one, Mac. And reminder, that was brought to you by Brackish Life. All right. Since we last spoke, we got game 6s and 7s to go over. We'll kind of speed bag through this. Just a couple quick thoughts. The Leafs, they broke the curse.
Never thought I would see it.
I literally re-listened to last episode and Nick said word for word, there's no way Tampa loses this game. And I didn't think he would be wrong. I chose the Leafs, but I wasn't super confident. And yeah, the Leafs win their first playoff series since 2004. The iPhone, what is that?
It's sorry, it's a Doritos bag. My dad just sent me this. It's Brad Marchand. It's yellow and the flavor is nacho year.
Oh my God, that's great. Yeah, first series win since 04. Give you an idea, Crosby and Ovi weren't even in the league yet. There was no iPhone. George Bush was president, I think. So it's been a little bit. Thoughts? I mean, Johnny T wins it in overtime.
I mean, it's a cool story. I'm happy for him. I'm excited for him.
You think monkey off the back, they make a run here?
I will say this, you don't win the Stanley Cup this year. Oh, baby, are you going to be in trouble?
Yeah, now it's like real reckoning time, right? Because
that door is open.
It's open, and it's one of those things that we talked about last year, last episode, compared it to March Madness and everything, where it's like all of a sudden it's wide open, right? You just got to get through like the Panthers and then either the Hurricanes or the Devils, and that's no disrespect to those teams. It's all good teams in the playoffs, right? But this is a team who thought if they made it through the Lightning, they'd probably have to face the Bruins, and now you have to face the Panthers. So all of a sudden it's like, yeah, it's now or never.
I mean, am I right in saying that as a fan of the Leafs or as like a writer for the Leafs, you're going, yeah, we should win this series against the Panthers?
Oh yeah, they're heavy favorites. We'll get into it in our the only team in the Leafs way, truthfully, is the Oilers, in my opinion. This is the Leafs year.
And if by the Oilers you mean the New Jersey Devils,
I was just about to say the Devils are a huge problem for everybody.
We'll see.
For everybody.
I think the Leafs would be. Well, actually, no. The Devils would have home ice.
That's a good. Somebody needs to look up what it is Devils to win the cup right now, because I would.
That's
like
a good question.
I would.
Someone
like
pull
to
up FanDuel and check that.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, Leafs move on. John Tavares, hometown kid, snaps the curse for his childhood team. I do think it's worth mentioning Tavares was also the one who snapped the Islanders playoff series drought back in 2016 when he scored the double overtime winner against the Florida Panthers. It was the Isles' first playoff series win since 1993 at the time. That's pretty insane. Also, one last stat. The Leafs became the first team in NHL history to win 3 overtime games as a road team in a single playoff series. That is a silly stat, in the words of Mac.
Very silly.
All right. Let's do Kings Oilers. We'll wrap this one up real quick. Oilers win 5-4. That one hurts me and Mac. We had the Kings to win the series.
Devils to win the cup right now is plus 600.
Okay. It's pretty juicy.
Yeah. I thought that would be around 9, to be honest.
They should be Carolina, but we'll get into that. Oilers power play. Story of the series. It's the greatest power play to ever be assembled, statistically and literally. The Oilers scored on 32.36% of the power plays during the regular season. And in the first round, they scored on 56.3% of their power plays. That's more than half of their power plays.
That's
result in goals.
That's a silly stat.
It is, especially when you consider how stingy LA's defense had been with them in the first half of that series.
I'm still bummed about LA, man. That sucks.
Yeah,
they get a fun team. I heard this comparison somewhere today. I can't remember where, but like the Kings to the Oilers is literally what the Leafs to the Lightning was. Like it's that the team you're going to probably play a couple years in a row. You got to find the roster to get over there. But Oilers move on. Next one, Rangers Devils. Man, this one's fun. Game 6, the Rangers wake up and trounce the Devils 5-2. Igor looked great. Chris Kreider tied Mark Messier for most playoff goals all time in elimination games with 16. That would have helped if he had one in Game 7. And then Game 7, I'm sure y'all watched and you know what happened. The Devils just put a can of whoop ass on the Rangers. That was impressive.
The Rangers had like no good scoring chances, like 1 or 2, like maybe like I know they probably had like 5 statistically, but if we're talking from like the eye test, I don't think they were really close to scoring like at any point.
They weren't in the game.
No.
And Rangers fans were saying like it really wasn't that bad. The score doesn't make it look that bad. I'm like that it should have been 10-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, Igor, it should have been a lot worse.
Fucking mine. And you could see his fucking frustration too when he like fired that puck after the little collision or whatever. I mean, that was a weird ass play too. But
boys, like I have to say, like I texted you guys this, but it genuinely looked like Patrick Kane didn't want to be there. Like he looked disinterested. Like every post whistle scrum, like you don't have to fight someone, but like if it's 5-on-5, you grab somebody. He's just skating away from it, like he doesn't give a shit.
I don't know who was in between the glass last night. Who was it?
I thought it was Ray Ferraro, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. My bad. You're right. He said something in the second period like, "This is if I'm Gerard Gallant, Patrick Kane has the legs right now." But I'm like, "What in the fuck are you watching? He looks horrible. He did not look good at all.
Like he genuinely looked annoyed
Oh, I remember
that he
when
had
he
to
said
play
that.
last night.
He said something like he's had the puck a lot and he's had the puck on a stick and whatever, but like, okay, he hasn't done shit with it.
Panarin ghosted, Kane ghosted, Kreider ghosted, and this guy, I would be shocked if he's in a Rangers uniform next season. Alexis Lafreniere, 0 goals, 0 points, 0 assists the entire series.
Damn.
They did a lot of stuff at the deadline and a lot of stuff to push their chips in this year and a lot of stuff that's going to give them some contract nightmares in the next 2 to 3 seasons.
Boys, from a Penguins and Capitals perspective, this is huge, right?
This is amazing.
Like you just said, they went all in at the deadline, and now all of a sudden they're going to have to face the Grim Reaper this summer and make some tough decisions. And I think they just kind of fucked themselves. I mean, they were previously set up to be like really good for the next who knows how long. They probably still will be, but
you gave up a lot
but
of
you
shit.
Fucked yourself a little bit for sure. Yeah, and that's big for guys like us who want the Penguins or the Capitals to have another fucking swing at this thing at some point in the next 2-3 years.
Guys are going to leave. Like guys are leaving that roster this offseason.
Yeah.
NHL Network had the list. I know Kane and Tarasenko are both UFAs. I know Keandre Miller is an RFA, Lafreniere is an RFA. So they've got some names that they've got to.
Panarin also did not look good.
No. I mean, here's the crazy reality. Igor Shesterkin was still the best goalie in the entire first round statistically. They still lost. So, I mean, they probably won't be as good next year. I will agree with that, but
didn't they win game 1 and 2 5-1?
Yeah.
In New Jersey.
Yeah, they blew.
And then the Devils just completely flipped the script on them. I was watching that game last night, and Mac, you'll appreciate this. The first thing that I thought of when it's like it's the third period, it's 2-0, and the Rangers offense is just anemic, for lack of a better word. I was like, oh my God, this is what it was like being a Caps fan from 2011 until 2017. It's like they would get to game 7 against the Habs, the Rangers, the Penguins, and then they would lose 2-0.
Like that. I actually had that same thought where it was like, holy crap, we're here, like do something. And they're all looking at each other, like down the bench, like who's going to do something? None of them do. No, I had that exact same thought.
Not to just trash the Rangers, because as much as I love doing that, that's a lot of fun. But shout out to the Devils, man. I mean, they played one hell of a game. They played that was the fastest paced team I've seen in the playoffs so far. They were skating like the wind.
And they gave the Rangers no room to do anything practically. I have a theory here. I think this might go back to, you remember I texted you boys, it was right after game 2. Devils were down 2-0 in the series and ready to head to MSG. They were having a practice first, though, in New Jersey. And there was something weird going on there that the Devils beat reporters were tweeting about. Like, no one showed up on time for practice, or they showed up, but all the reporters are there to cover practice and talk about who's on the ice, who's not, whatever. And they're all tweeting like, okay, it's time for practice. And there's nobody out here. And like the rink is silent. And I don't know how long it lasted, maybe 15, 20, maybe more minutes, until Jack Hughes finally took the ice, and then one by one, slowly the rest of the team took the ice. I think they were having a meeting. I think something was going on behind closed doors there, where they had a little bit of a day of reckoning, and they said, look, we're down 2-0. We're going into MSG. Are we for real or not? And I think whatever they fucking said in that room did something.
I totally agree. I think that was like a kick the coach out, players only meeting. Like
it could have been.
Like we're down 2-0. We're a good enough team to beat these guys. We're ahead of them on points coming into the, playoffs. Let's just forget those last 2 games and go out there and take it one shift at a time.
Yeah.
And they yanked Vanacek. I mean, that's really what changed. Schmid came in and man, he didn't look back. I mean, he's giving off rookie, Cam Ward, Matt Murray, Bennington vibes with how he's playing, just a flash in the pan in the playoffs. So shout out to him. He looks
22 years old, 6'5", built like a house.
Yeah, must be
looking
nice.
Good. Also, like, do they just have the entire Swish like national team on their roster.
Right. Yeah, right. Also, that Truba hit.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Good God.
That
I haven't seen a hit like that in a long time.
That looked like Scott Stevens. I mean, the way that happened.
That was a Scott Stevens hit.
Sensitive topic online. Seeing a lot of different opinions. Don't really want to get into it. I mean, I think I have a feeling I know how everybody feels based on how we were talking about last night, but definitely.
All I'm going to say is this. I had a massive amount of problems with the officiating in that game.
Yeah.
That was not one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm
kind of surprised they didn't call something just because it's Truba.
And it was that violent.
And I think maybe even that was a little bit of the effect that I was having, because I texted you boys initially and kind of a gut knee-jerk reaction where I was like, that looked dirty, mostly because he hit him right in the head.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the more I looked at it and the more I kind of thought about it, you gotta have your head up.
What was like less
also
than
that
number
point of the
one,
ice, right?
guys.
You're crossing the blue line.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Lesson number one, if you're going to cut to the middle of the ice, keep your head up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
fair enough.
Glad that Meyer was okay, just for the record.
Yes.
Hal got up after that. I don't know how you do that. All right, this one will be fun. The Bruins and the Panthers, game 7. Wow. An absolute shocker. Perhaps the biggest upset in the history of sports. The Florida Panthers win the game 4-3 in overtime as Carter Verhaeghe sends the NHL record-setting Boston Bruins to the golf course early this spring. Crazy.
And it was in a Hindenburg-like ending.
Go look at just YouTube Jack Edwards call.
Pee-wee Herman strikes again,
Jesus
boys.
Christ,
like, oh
what
my
are we
God.
talking
How does
about?
that man have a job?
Oh my God.
All right, so Jeremy Swayman gets to start here. Apparently, Allmark was playing hurt the first 6 games. We didn't all know that going into game 7. Sent everybody in a frenzy online about who should be starting in goal. Then the news comes out, kind of makes sense. Allmark wasn't playing great. But yeah, I mean, this is a wild story. I mean, the Panthers took a 2-0 lead. The Bruins came back and scored 3. They were up with about 10 minutes to go. And then in the final minute of regulation, Brandon Montour scores his second goal of the game from the left faceoff circle.
He literally willed the Panthers to 2 separate wins.
Yeah, man. Montour, Tkachuk, Sam Bennett, Verhaeghe, those 4 guys, they brought it. They brought it. So hats off to the Cats.
Much more behind the scenes, but Barkov obviously belongs in that conversation. I don't think the numbers are necessarily there, but it's on the wall stuff that he's irreplaceable. But my question to you guys is, what's the bigger, what do you think is the storyline here? Is it the Bruins blew it, or is it the Panthers pulled it off?
Oh, the Bruins blew it.
To me, it's the other way around. It's the Panthers pulled it off, because this is statistically the greatest team in regular season history. And you just proved that means absolutely nothing.
I don't know. This is a hard one for me, because I go back to how many times the Bruins had a chance to end it, right? I mean, it was game 5.
Yeah.
They had 8.
Or no, what? Yeah, game 5 when
at the end.
Yes, at the end. That's the Marchand breakaway, right? With a second left.
Overtime.
Still, if you score the goal, it's over.
Every lead they blew in game 6, which was 7 of them.
Which was 7. I think they were leading by 1 with at least maybe 5-6 minutes left or something like that.
It was over at that point.
Yep.
And then in game 7, they blew the lead again, and then they lost in overtime again. I mean,
there's 5+ chances where if you have enough killer instinct, if somebody steps up and gets the job done, and I don't think they got goalied. I don't think they got
they got Tkachuk'd.
I don't even know what to say. I forget who, but somebody, Bruins guy on Twitter, was saying something like how he's not mad, he's not sad, he's just confused, because he's like, I don't know who to be mad at, what to blame. We didn't get goalied. We didn't not score enough. We just didn't win. I don't know what happened, but we didn't win. Yeah, I mean, he's kind of right. It's a weird, I don't know what I would attribute it to, whether the Panthers beat them or they blew it. A little of both, I guess. Cop out answer, but I don't know.
I think it is
weird.
It's like a 1A, 1B almost. I think you have to give the Panthers credit. I mean, we were all saying this series was over. It was over and done. Like this was over in 5. And each game that they won after that, they found a way to just extend this thing and keep going. And
the Bruins won game 4 in a big
Right.
fashion, 6-2.
At what
the
point
Panthers outworked them. There's no doubt about that.
Yes.
So I'll give them credit. But when you have, when Mac lists like five or six different chances to close out, it's like that's not the Bruins. Like that.
It's also like looking back on it, like they played really well. I mean, Bertuzzi played out of his mind. Dmitry Orlov, I thought, was the best player in Game 7, both sides of the ice.
Yeah.
Taylor Hall played well.
He played great.
DeBrusk
Pasta
played
scoring.
well.
I mean,
Swayman gave him enough a chance. I thought. I mean, yeah, there was a couple questionable goals there, but
Krejci scores in Game 7 when he's typically the guy dishing the puck. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's just.
You know who played bad, and he's an incredible player, but he had a bad game, in my opinion, was Charlie McAvoy. He didn't play that well in 7.
Yeah.
A couple pizzas. But, the Cats move on, pull up a huge upset, and the Boston Bruins are going home. All right, we move on to the Kraken and the Avalanche. Oliver Bjorkstrand had the game of his career. He scored both goals for the Seattle Kraken in their 2-1 win in Colorado to send the defending Cup champs home. Mikko Rantanen scored the lone goal for the Avalanche. A huge shout out to Philip Grubauer, and Mac called it. I mean, Nick, I know you picked the Kraken too. I was the idiot who picked the Avs. But Mac said it last episode. He could see it in Grubauer's eyes that he wanted that revenge against his old team, and he out-goalied Georgiev. There's no way around it.
Seattle, you have your goalie. Oh,
he literally proved to the Avalanche why they shouldn't have let him walk. Like, that's literally what happened.
He looked unbelievable in that game, man. I mean,
Which is weird. We've had so much goalie weirdness this postseason because he was kind of not that good all year and with some injuries and whatever else. But
Martin Jones stole his crease at one point.
Yeah.
So
now is he even on the bench? I don't think so, right? It's
who's the
that
backup?
guy. I think it's Jones, but no, or
is it? Don't they have like?
Is it Dreger?
I was gonna say, don't they have Dreger and there's somebody else too? Like,
let's hope we don't have to find out with the way Gruby's playing, but
there's somebody else who's random.
I mean, I'm happy for the guy. Guy's won at pretty much every level he's played at.
I'm happy for the Kraken. I mean, you talk about a bunch of misfits who just took down the defending champs, and don't get me wrong, the Avalanche are probably the most injured team in the playoffs, or that were in the playoffs
for like the 8th year in a row.
Yeah, but they were still heavy favorites. I mean, they were missing Nichushkin, Landeskog, Cogliano, Darren Helm, Manson. They lost Kadri last offseason. I mean, that's 6 guys that are really important role players that all chipped in last year, and they didn't have that. But
I know I said it last episode. Maybe it's a maturity thing. I know he's still young, but like, I love Nate Mack. He is one of my top 3 favorite players in the NHL. Doing too much. Like, you got to just release the grip on the stick a little bit, bud. I know you're a much more talented hockey player than I ever was, but just based on what I saw, I think, you're not one person who can. This is not a sport where one person can really take over an entire game. You can do it in shifts, but you can't do it all at once.
Yeah, I mean, they were playing the shit out of him. Obviously, you got all these injuries.
As you should.
I kind of get it. Yeah. By the way, Cha-ching, 9 shots on goal for Nate Mack in Game 7. I think I said I think they had him at like 6.5, and I was like, that's outlandish, but fuck it, and sure as shit.
And my criticism of him is really just like, situations where he's trying to stick handle the puck too much over the line, or like, taking a shot where I don't really, there were other options there. So it's nitpicking for sure. The dude is absolutely unreal.
Well, let's move on to the round 2 previews now that we wrapped up round 1. Let's start in the Eastern Conference. But before we do, these round 2 previews are presented by Kane Footwear, who I think Nick has a message from.
That's right, boys. It's crazy that these guys don't get any time to recover before the second round starts. But you know how they could help themselves by doing that is by putting on their Kane Footwears when they walk to the rink every day. I wear my Canes all the time, especially when I'm running, whenever I'm doing shooting drills in the yard with the little shooting pad. Busted that out the other day. It was a ton of fun. Be sure to go ahead and hit the link in our bio to get a pair of the most comfortable shoes you will ever own. Thank you, Kane, for sponsoring this portion of the podcast.
All righty. So we've got the Maple Leafs versus the Panthers. we've got the Maple Leafs at a minus 175 favorites to win the series versus the Panthers, who are plus 142 to win the series. The Maple Leafs took the season series, winning 3 out of the 4, although I think it's worth noting 2 of those went to overtime or a shootout. Biggest storyline in this one, the 2 best American hockey players in the world. I mean, you could argue Jack Hughes right now. I'd accept that. But in my opinion, the 2 best American hockey players in the world, Matthew versus Matthews, Tkachuk versus Austin Matthews. It's going to be a great, great matchup. In this one, I think the big thing you got to watch for, you got to look at the Leafs power play versus the Panthers penalty kill. The Panthers were the most penalized team in the first round, and they finished with the second most penalty minutes per game league wide in the regular season. They also have the second worst penalty kill in the regular season, and the Leafs had the second best power play in the regular season behind Edmonton. So that's definitely going to be a storyline. The Panthers got to stay out of the box for sure.
Yeah, that's the key. Because if the Leafs power play gets going, this is going to be a dog walk.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? You don't think as the Panthers as a run and gun team, but that's exactly what they are. I mean, that's how they win games. They just score a shit ton of goals. So definitely look at the overs this series. This is going to be a weird goaltending matchup. Samsonov, who, give him credit, he just beat Andrei Vasilevsky. I mean, he did. And he's going to go up against,
however,
Bobrovsky. What?
There were some moments.
There were some moments, but he out-goalied
He did.
Andrei Vasilevsky. That's pretty hard to do. Yeah.
And, if you're listening to this, just know that right before game 1 against the Panthers during warmups, this comes to us via Puck Empire. So
direct quote.
He took a shot off the collarbone and was stunned. So, yeah, do with that information what you will.
NHL,
he's playing, but
injury updates just continue to be.
He was stunned. Let me say this. Everyone's saying how the Leafs are going to blow the doors off the Panthers and how it's a total mismatch and, they're going to have a cakewalk. Explain to me how it's a mismatch when, to me, tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm out of line here at all. I think both teams have a lot of offensive upside, right? I think it's easy to say that. They both have a lot of scoring power, a lot of star forward power. To me, both teams have pretty average defensive cores. I like, there's a couple really good defenders on each team, but in terms of like good defense, I think we're not talking about anything monumental here, at least in my opinion. And then between the pipes, I think both teams have kind of mediocre, maybe even not so good goaltending situations. So,
you just don't know what you're going to get on a nightly basis. You're going to get like you got Samsonov in game 6, or you're going to get Samsonov like you got in game 5.
Right. So, I mean, my thing is, tell me where the mismatch is. If I'm saying their offense is pretty similar, their defense is similarly average, and
even the momentum is the same.
Right.
You just got a huge monkey off your back.
Yes. Both of them are. Yeah. I don't.
Honestly, at that point, the pressure's all on the Leafs to me.
Yeah.
If you're the Panthers, like literally the same attitude you have going into the first round, what do you have to lose?
Right.
Nothing.
No, yeah. Everything from here on out for the Panthers is gravy. Everything from game 1 of the first round out was gravy. And they're just trying to put some more fucking gravy on. Like,
yeah. And I know Leafs fans are happy that they won a series. They showed that. Maybe they showed it a little too much because, like, you got another one starting right now. You're currently losing 1-0. I don't know.
Well, we all picked the Leafs. As weird as this might sound, because it sounds like Nick and Mac are actively changing their minds on the spot.
I should have picked the Panthers when I saw you both pick the Leafs, because we all had the same fucking picks, and this was a huge coin flip for me. Same. And I would have been fine with picking the Panthers. So I should have published that. I definitely will be rooting for the Cats.
The deciding factor for me is just, I think the momentum for the Leafs beating a team that had beaten them like multiple times before is going to be a little bit more than the Panthers just happening to beat the, record-setting team or whatever you want to call it.
I think the Cats are very Underestimated. Yeah, underestimated. I think it's gonna be a tough series. I mean, Mac, you gave the Cats the most love. Me, Nick, and Jackson all picked Leafs in 6. You had Leafs in 7.
Yeah, it was a huge coin flip for me. Like I said, it could be Leafs in 7 or Cats in 7, in my opinion.
I don't think this is a crazy thing to say. Matthew Tkachuk's the best player in the series. I mean,
I think so.
The
so
Panthers
far.
have the best players, so anything can happen here. I do think the momentum for the Leafs, though, they got the monkey off the back. I mean,
it's the momentum, but at the same time, it's a double-edged sword. It's also the pressure.
yeah. I mean, they have the better team. I don't think it's as uneven as people make it sound. Like with
Right.
what Max said, like a lot of it's maybe a little even. I'd give a little bit of an offensive edge to Toronto, but we'll see. I mean,
Depth-wise,
I don't know.
for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe more depth, sure.
Yeah. So we're all rocking with the Leafs.
2-0 Panthers.
Ooh.
Let's go, baby.
We're recording this as game 1 is going on.
Yeah.
Do you know who scored the second goal?
Bennett.
Of course. Yeah, that could be a problem. Okay, moving on. We got Carolina versus the New Jersey Devils. Carolina's coming in at plus 100 to win the series. The Devils are coming in at minus 120. The season series was split 2-2. If you're trying to get a feel for how to gamble in this series, good fucking luck, because there were 2 unders, 2 overs. Both teams won on the road and at home, and they split the series. So this is just a total coin flip. The biggest question mark here, goalies. You got Freddie Anderson, who looked great in game 7 against the Islanders, 6 against the Islanders. And then you've got Akira Schmid, the new kid on the block, who's just kind of swinging a giant hog everywhere on everybody. And it's like, what's going on here? So what do you guys think of the goaltending matchup?
So we've seen one goalie for 1 game, and we've seen another one for 4 games. Prisoner of the moment, maybe, but like, I am not sold on Anderson. I've seen him play 1 game. That does not mean much to me. The Leafs just scored, by the way. I don't know. I have to give the edge to Smead just because I've seen him play. And in game 7, that dude was dialed.
Yeah, he was
like
dialed.
Old school washing machine dialed.
Coming from a guy who had Freddie Anderson on his fantasy team all year, I have no confidence in that man to play well ever. And also to stay healthy ever, more importantly. So I definitely cannot come out here and say that he has the edge. Akira has looked fucking awesome, and I fully expect him to get another shutout this series.
Another thing to note here, too, not that this makes a huge difference as we saw in the first round, but the Canes do have home ice. They beat the Devils for that division lead by like 1 point. So that 1 point makes a difference. Carolina's a tough barn to play in. The Carolina Hurricanes cannot score goals. That's been their biggest issue all postseason. It's been their biggest issue all season. They're missing Svechnikov, Teravainen, and Pacioretty, arguably their 3 best goal scorers, you could argue. I mean, at least 2 of the 3.
They're 3 goal scorers. Let's put it that way. If you took Aho out, they would just not score goals.
Yeah, I literally think that is the reason they will lose the series. I think I had the Devils in 6 actually for this one. Yeah, I mean, this is just a bad matchup in my opinion. I think that the Devils showed in that Rangers series that they can really frustrate teams the way that everyone's used to seeing the Islanders play, sort of like that frustrating game where they get like 1 or 2 goals and they just dump the puck in and
just
like
suffocate you.
Literally leave like 3 guys back and like 2 in the neutral zone, just give you no room to like go anywhere. That's what they do. And if you can't get the first goal, or if you can't score a goal in the first half of the game, like it's over. Like it's that simple. And Akira has seemed to get more dialed in as each game has gone on too. So that's a problem. I don't see a way where the Carolina Hurricanes win the series.
The only thing about Carolina that I think the Devils should be nervous about is their defense core. That's a very active defense core for the Hurricanes. They can move the puck. They can do a lot of the scoring. Right now, they just aren't for whatever reason. I think when you look at the Devils, Mac, you make an excellent point, and I 100% agree. That's why they're going to lose. That's why the Hurricanes are going to lose that series to the Devils. And to be honest, I just think that, I mean, you look at that Rangers-Devils series, every low-scoring game, the Devils won, with the exception of Game 7, if you call 4-0 a high-scoring game. But I just think that when they do that and when they're on their game and they suck the life out of you, you saw how hard it was for the Rangers to get zone time the other night.
Yeah. I agree. One word, speed. I don't think anybody's faster than the Devils that's left. Maybe
Yeah.
Oilers, because McDavid picks up a lot of slack, but the Devils, I think, are the fastest team left in the playoffs. And it showed in Game 7 against the Rangers, who I also think are a very fast team. They just come in waves over and over and over. That being said, I think people are discounting the Canes a lot. I'm not saying I think this will go 7, but I do think every game is going to be close because you're not going to get a Rod Brindamore team get the doors blown off them. It's just not how it works. They're going to be working really hard. He knows how to coach, man. I definitely give him the edge in the coaching category over Ruff. But I do think the Devils will win this series.
Do you really give him the coaching advantage over Ruff?
Who?
I
Rod?
definitely do.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, Rod. Jack
not,
Adams.
Not for experience-wise or anything here?
Ruff was maybe going to get fired at the start.
He was
right. That's true.
Yeah.
But just as a guy who's been around the block and who has seen every situation possible.
He has.
That's fair.
I think,
but I don't know. I think
years,
Rod is just super big brain. I trust that dude as a coach.
In a way, I'm kind of gonna say Lindy's a little bit big brain too. You look at that adjustment after those 2 games against the Rangers where they lose 5-1. He absolutely comes out and, like you said, Mac, suffocates the life out of that Rangers team.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Rod too goes to Freddie in Game 6. Everyone's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
well, it's in 1 goal. I mean, it's
I don't know.
I just need
it should
to
be
see
a good coaching matchup. Honestly,
Yes.
both are well versed.
Yes.
So in this series, we all have the Devils. Nick, you have the Devils in 7, which I also have, and Jackson also has. And Mac, you have the Devils in 6. So there's your picks for the series. Should be a good one.
I think they're another good thing about the Devils here is they're battle tested in hostile environment. They had to go into MSG and win 2 games on the road.
They're a great road team.
You were talking about Carolina being a hard building to play, and I'm like, please, after they just beat the Rangers in 7, this is easy.
Sure.
The Devils were the best road team all year too. So I mean that doesn't hurt.
They now know how to deal with a fan base that's going to complain when things aren't penalties. So
there you go. Wow. You must really like the New York Ranger fans.
And the Hurricanes fans. They're both great. I love them.
Let's move out west for a little less hostile of an analysis on fan bases here. We've got the VGK Golden Knights at +110, another fan base that both of these guys love so dearly.
I was about to say, I don't think
it's like,
yeah, fuck. Versus the Edmonton Oilers, who are -135 favorites to win the series. I think that's actually gone up since we found that number yesterday, but whatever. The Oilers won the season series, winning 3 of the 4 games. The 1 game that Vegas won was in a shootout, I believe, or overtime. Don't quote me on that. This is a silly stat, and I did not know this until today. I guess I didn't put 2 and 2 together. The Edmonton Oilers are 18-0-3 in their past 21 games dating back to the regular season. They haven't lost a regulation game in 2 months. That's insane.
Wait, what the fuck? I'm just realizing that.
They haven't every game the Kings won.
They haven't lost
wow.
a regular season game since the week of March 10th.
Oh,
they're hot.
That is crazy. Holy shit.
I mean, as hot as you can get.
Jesus.
So I didn't know that.
Should we talk about what decisions were made based on this stat? Because you put money on something that I feel like we got to talk about because we've seen this movie before.
So for those who are new here, I have a little history with the Edmonton Oilers, some would say. I've jinxed them, some would say, in the past.
They've been on you put them on the shelf at one point, right?
I blacklisted them for the last 2 postseasons in a row. I have Dallas going to the Cup Finals in my bracket. So some could say this is a little bit of a hedge. I picked LA in round 1 out of spite of what's happened to me in the past. But I'm done doubting this team. They've got the best player, the best 2 players in the world by far right now. And I have made a wager for the Edmonton Oilers to win the Stanley Cup.
I honestly, dude, I've laughed at it the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Don't hate it this year. It's their conference to lose.
It seems like it now. Yeah. Now that the East is what it is, all postseason predictions, everyone we had on as a guest was saying, I fully expect someone to come out of the East. either the Bruins or the Rangers or the Canes or whatever. I think at this point, the West is sitting pretty. To me, it's looking like Dallas or Edmonton has the best shot.
I think if you're the Oilers, you clear this series against the Knights, and you've got to be worried about a goaltender. And you're in the Cup final.
Yeah.
I will say I got the Oilers before I took the bet before round one was officially over. Like there were still some East games going on, so I got it at a better price. Right now, I think they're the odds-on favorite to win it. I think they're like plus 450, but I think that who's right behind it? I can't remember. I think it was a team in the East who was like right there too. But yes, I have gotten back on the Oilers bandwagon. This is shaping out to be the all-Canadian Stanley Cup final. As Jersey's the only team who could put a dart in this and say not so fast, but everything is telling me it would be Leafs Oilers. This is both of their years, and it would be an incredible final.
I'm starting to buy into another team in the West a little bit more each day. We'll touch on that in a little bit, but
I agree. It's not clear cut.
It's not done yet.
It's theirs to lose, in my opinion.
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, the Oilers haven't lost a game in regulation in 2 months.
March 11th, I just confirmed. March 11th, they lost.
That's insane.
The Leafs.
One thing I heard on ESPN today that I wanted to bring up is everyone is constantly talking about, the Oilers should go to the Stanley Cup. The best player in hockey deserves it. Show me you deserve it by making it there. Just because you're the best player in hockey doesn't mean you deserve shit. Show me you deserve it by making it there.
I mean,
totally agree.
Look at what Ovi had to go through. I mean, not saying that. You can argue best player or not, whatever. I mean, I'll put it out there. He's 1A or 1B. It's not like he's, him and Sid for so long. And it took forever. I mean, McDavid's not entitled to anything.
No.
So. Yeah, and you don't get that respect until you get the cup. We saw it.
Vegas is going to be a tough matchup for them. I think they've had the depth to hang. There's also a revenge game for a revenge series for another goaltender, like we talked about with Grubauer. Laurent Brossoit, he was an Edmonton Oiler for a little bit.
He was.
Yeah, people forget. So this is going to be a nice little revenge series for him. We've got Eichel versus McDavid. This was a hot topic in 2015 when they both went. Remember, Eichel was getting hammered and he was like, "I'm coming for you, Buffalo." And then that ended badly. But it's going to be fun. Mark Stone, he's going to have his hands full. I fully expect him to be going up against McDavid and Leon. That's going to be a great matchup. I think the X factor here, and you guys will probably agree with this, Jack Eichel's got to play his balls off. I mean, he's got to be a number one center.
That, and I think what we need to see from Vegas to win the series is probably a little bit of what we saw from Florida to win that series against Boston. Like, you're going to have to get goals from guys that you don't expect to get goals from. You're going to have these guys just outwork the Edmonton Oilers. Guys like Chandler Stevenson are just going to have to outwork these guys.
Keep up what he's been doing, that's going to help. But they also need some other random dudes to step up a little bit more too.
For sure.
I feel like they're going to have to win a game where they go shot for shot with the Oilers, which is a matchup that is almost impossible to win. But you're going to have to win one game 6-4, 5-4, something in that range. And this was coming from Spit and Chicklets, as Biz was talking about it 1,000 times. Vegas was the least penalized team in the regular season, and with the Harlem Globetrotters, aka the Oilers, on that power play, I mean, that's going to play a factor. So we'll see. But who you guys got?
I still have the Oilers. They're the better team. I mean, until I see them have like a monumental collapse, I'm not going to pick them.
My issue is mostly with I'm worried about the Mark Stone situation. I feel like he's just too hurt. Like, this is going to be the big bomb when they eventually get eliminated. If they do, the Knights, like, you see all these teams get eliminated and you're like, oh, now we get to find out what so-and-so was playing through. Mark Stone is not okay. Like,
it's going to be like two separated discs in his back or something.
His back is fucked up, and
I give him credit. He looked great in round one, but I agree.
Looks great when he celebrates goals. I'm like, hey, maybe don't jump on his back, guys. Like,
I know, but that's the thing, man. It's just like you can do it for so long, but like every series just takes another toll on you, and guys know it. Guys aren't stupid. Dudes know his back is hurt. Like,
I mean, they didn't even give him a day off between the end of the first round, the start of the second round. It's like most teams got like the typical 1 day to travel, and then you're right back at it.
I don't know. I think that plays a role, and I think that, like we said before, I think the Oilers suddenly see how wide open the West could be, and this is not their biggest issue. The Dallas Stars could be their biggest issue next round if we get there, but yeah, I say Oilers in 6, maybe 7 if Vegas can make it interesting.
We have a tie game in Toronto, fellas. It is 2-2.
I did not realize that Matthew Nyes got his first career NHL goal, if I'm not mistaken.
He did.
Plus 390 on that one. I almost took it, but I didn't. So I'll just go jump off a bridge. Okay. Dallas Stars versus Seattle Kraken. Oh, by the way, I forgot to read this. I think we all had Oilers in 6. Jackson had Oilers in 7.
Correct.
Stars versus Kraken. We have the Dallas Stars coming in at minus 190 favorites, basically, versus the Seattle Kraken at plus 150 underdogs to win the series. Big headline, Joe Pavelski will be back for the Dallas Stars. That's a huge addition for them. Dallas won the season series, winning 2 of 3 matchups. All of them hit the over. Do with that what you will. This is going to be a very tightly contested matchup, and I think they're all going to be low scoring, contrary to the season series, because we have the 2 hottest goalies left in the playoffs, other than maybe Akira Schmid, Jay Gottinger, and Philip Grubauer.
I think you're going to see like one of those like 5-4 games in here somewhere, but I would agree. I think this is going to be pretty tight between the pipes.
Yeah, I think that's a good assessment. And honestly, I like both teams. I could say good things about both. I mean, the Kraken, they've got 4 former Capitals, so I got a soft spot for some of those boys. But the Stars, they're kind of hard not to like a little bit. I mean, J-Rob, actually, we were talking about before we started recording who's the most likable player in the NHL. I think it might be Jason Robertson.
Yeah, it's actually
finally someone agrees.
How could you hate him? I mean, he's just a really, really cool player to watch, and youngster, you got to root for him. But I don't know. I want the Stars to win for a couple reasons. I think number one, it's the same as it was when when the Knights came into the league. You got to go through some more adversity before you get just walk through the playoffs. Like, cool, you won a series, good for you, happy for you. I hope your fan base loves the playoffs and loves hockey now.
But like Three Doors Down said, it's not your time, you're not going.
Exactly. Get out of here. And also I think that, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but I think that Dallas, Edmonton, or even Dallas, Vegas would be a hell of a fucking Western Conference final.
Agreed.
Yes, I would agree with that as well.
The Stars are a fun team. You have to give them the fun team stamp.
They're fun team.
For Joe Pa.
Absolutely.
I'm rooting for Ottinger too, man. I like that guy a lot.
I mean, you want to talk about each year in every sport, we have to talk about a veteran who doesn't have a championship that deserves one. I mean, is there a more deserving person in the NHL than Joe Pavelski at this point?
Honestly.
Yeah, I would agree with that. We've talked about all the superstars that are, have some matchups coming up here. Eichel, McDavid, you got Hughes and Aho, Matthews versus Matthew. Well, no one's talked about Rupe Hintz, who's currently leading the NHL in points through the first round. He has 12 points through round 1, which is good enough to keep him in sole possession of the league lead, that is. I don't know if the Kraken have an answer for this guy. I mean, he looked absolutely incredible in round 1 against the Wild.
Someone like Bjorkstrand is just going to have to shut him down the entire time, which that dude is capable of. But I mean, Hintz has just been playing so well. And if Pavelski comes back and that top line gets going, the Kraken are in big trouble.
I want to know if Andre Burakovsky is going to make it into this postseason at all. Apparently he had a procedure done not that long ago, which you would think means he's
something's
away from
up
returning.
there. I don't know what's going on.
But them not giving any sort of timetable, you would think if he was just out, they would have just said that. So I don't know. I mean, that's big for the Kraken if they can somehow get him back, but it doesn't seem like it's probably going to be this series. They'd probably have to win another one to get him back, maybe even more, if that would even do it. Again, we have no idea. So
right. I tell you what, if you're the Kraken and you push this thing 7 and you're wondering how to win game 7, you put Andre Burakovsky in a lineup.
Yeah, figure it out. Figure it out, man. I don't know what's wrong with him, but
call the Avs, call the Caps, and they'll tell you what to do.
Yeah.
I was gonna make a joke, but I won't. All right. Last headline here. Nick's favorite defenseman versus my favorite defenseman, Heiskanen versus Vince Dunn. You love Heiskanen, don't you?
I do, yeah. I don't know if he's my favorite defenseman. I have a jersey, so yeah, we'll roll with
favorite that's not a capital, I would say. Maybe? No?
Up there.
Maybe.
Okay. Well, anyways, two most underappreciated guys, in my opinion, arguably in the league. So that should be a fun one. I think we all have Dallas in this one, if I'm not mistaken. I have Dallas in 7. Jackson actually has the Kraken in 6, and then Mac has the Stars in 6, and Nick has the Stars in 7.
Correct.
I
For the
do think
Ass Crack series.
I think the Kraken are going to play really well. I wouldn't even be surprised if they win game 1.
I think this is
I'm excited to watch that.
A lot closer than people think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like, shout out to Vegas for making like most of these series impossible to bet on.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, it's annoying. The only one with good prices is that Jersey Carolina one, and
the Knights plus
even
110.
That Jersey's like minus 120. I'm not taking the Canes in that, and I don't really want. Yeah, that's annoying.
Knights plus 110, and then the Oilers minus 135. Those are both such jokes.
Yeah, I agree. All right. That about wraps it up. I have one question that I want to hit you guys with, and then we can move on to trivia. Gun to your head. You got to pick one underdog out of round 2 to pull off an upset. The Kraken, the Knights, I guess you could say the Hurricanes, or the Panthers. Who are you taking?
Panthers.
I'd say Panthers as well. I hate that we all agree on that.
It's just momentum. I mean, you can't not pick a team that has that much wind at their back.
If I had to pick another one, I don't know, maybe Vegas.
Yeah.
I take Seattle.
They're hungry enough. I think Vegas is hungry enough that maybe they could do it. They're fucking pissed that they missed the playoffs last year. I can tell you that much.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right. That wraps up the round 2 previews. Let's move on to the trivia segment, which is presented by Elwoods.
Yeah, shout out Elwoods. I know my boy Nathan over there has got us hooked up with the QR code over there now. So if you head over to Elwoods, should be able to see some of our stuff there and scan the QR code and hook up to the pod. However, if you're listening to this, you're already in tune with us, so it doesn't really matter. Anyway, go to Elwoods, buy some drinks, watch some hockey there, join their cornhole bags league, whatever you want to call it.
Do a pizza luge.
Do a pizza beer luge. A lot of fun times to be had at that 70s themed hockey bar. All right, let's get on to trivia. We got another sort of 2-parter here from this day in hockey history. I like the 2-parters and the 3-parters because it gives both of you a chance to maybe come out with a correct answer here. So let me think how I want to word this one. All right, how about all right, here we go. This goalie recorded his 8th career playoff shutout on May 2nd, 2002, as his team beat the St. Louis Blues 2-0 in Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals. So that would be round 2, right?
Round 2.
And in those, they won the game 2-0 against the Blues. Can you tell me who the other 2 goal scorers were? So I guess it's a 3-parter.
Okay.
So the goalie, the 2 goal scorers.
Yes, they beat the Red. So it's a lot like last week's question, actually, now that I'm reading it. They beat the Red Wings 2-0. Oh, wait.
They beat the Blues. I was going to say it was Hasek. I was going to say it was Red Wings and Hasek.
All right, well, I spilled the beans.
Is it Hasek?
Yeah, it's Hasek.
Nice.
Okay, but okay, you didn't get the best part of the question though. There's two
Mac, you're too funny.
Yeah, sorry.
That was funny.
There's 2 goal scorers, so can you figure that out?
0-2 Red Wings goal scorers.
Brendan Shanahan.
No, these are actually hard, so I'm not even that pissed that I ruined it because these 2 are probably
Okay, sorry, here you go.
Darren McCarty in there?
No.
Martin Lapointe.
No.
Fuck.
We could be here for a while. They're not hard. Like you'll know both players very well. That they're not hard in that way. But
you go.
No, it's your turn.
Just go.
Igor Larionov.
No.
Damn it.
0-2 Red Wings. I believe they beat the Hurricanes in the Cup final that year with something Urbe in net with that really weird. Yeah, I remember that as a kid.
With the pillow pads.
Who is on that? Who is on that Red Wings team? Who's well? It's not Yzerman, right?
No. There's a hint I could give for each player, but I fear that each of those hints would
let us
directly.
try a little more.
I got nothing, man.
Okay.
All right,
okay.
I'll take a guess. Nick Lidstrom.
No. All right. Let me put it this way. Both of these players are Hall of Famers for sure.
Nick, you want a next
So
guess? Or you want
household names.
Fedorov.
No, but both
Fuck
are
me.
total household names.
Chris Chelios.
No. All right, let me give you a hint.
I mean, like it's Red Wings Hall of Famer, so we could be here for another 4 hours.
Right. One of them scored against his former team, the St. Louis Blues.
Okay, that's a great
Brett
hint.
Hall.
So let me.
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay, that's a
sorry,
good.
sorry.
No. It was your turn.
Tourette's.
That's okay.
I was worried that would give it away, and it did. But all right, we got one of them.
That's
Brett Hall.
I'm not mad about that. But and then the other one, there's no hint. Just
There is, but this would totally fucking give it away, I feel like.
Okay.
We got this.
We got this.
If I knew I'm not going to ask for the hint because then you'll make fun of me. I wish I knew the nationality of the player, but I'm not.
That would also give it away, I feel like.
Okay, so that helps me think of it a little bit. Why am I feeling Swedish?
I'm not saying anything else yet.
The Lidstrom was sweet. Was it Yo? No, he's not a Hall of Famer. Oh, Zetterberg.
No.
Oh my God. I don't even know if he's on the team.
Like these guys are already in the Hall of Fame, right?
Oh, Nick, I know who it is now, I think.
Okay, go.
No, is it Datsuk?
Datsuk.
Nice.
He scored his first. He was a rookie, and he scored his first playoff goal.
When I said Zetterberg, I saw the eye glove. I was like, maybe it's Datsuk. Like,
so now that I fucking ruined it, I'll read the whole thing. Dominik Hasek recorded his 8th career playoff shutout on May 2nd, 2002, as the Detroit Red Wings beat the St. Louis Blues 2-0 in Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals. Brett Hull had a goal and an assist against his former team, while rookie Pavel Datsuk scored his first playoff goal.
That's right. I forgot he was a rookie that year.
Yeah,
that's fun. That's sick. That
was a good one.
Hasek shut them out, and Hull scored against his former team, and then also assisted on the Datsuk first goal. Like that's legendary.
Nick, you said before the show you had a question too.
I do. This one actually comes from my mother. So shout out mom for this one. She's very excited to have her question be aired on the show. So my question to you guys is, a ton of players have won the Stanley Cup in the NHL, but which player has their name on the cup the most?
I should know this. I think. Damn, we're going to look really dumb. Is it?
Why did you word it like that?
So like, who's won the most Stanley Cups as one player is basically, yeah.
Why did you? That's a great question.
I was worried there was like a trick question here or something like that. Okay. All right.
I'm talking like just as a player, not like they then became a coach and won like a couple after that. Like, like who's the Bill Russell of hockey?
Well, I know it because
you absolutely, you guys.
Is it a household name? Like,
it's an old house, but yeah.
Mac, you want first guess?
No, I want you to take it.
Is it Marcel Dion?
No, I don't think he ever won a Stanley Cup.
Did he? Yeah, probably not. I think it's a French guy.
Are you kidding me?
I think it's a French guy.
Is it like Jean?
Don't Google it, Harry. Come on.
No, I'm looking up if Marcel Dion won a cup.
Is it like Jean Beliveau or something like that? Is it?
No.
Oh.
But
why did you look at me like that?
But like warm. Dion, you're warm.
I'm warm? Okay. Yeah.
Marcel
Henry
Dion
said French guy, and I was like,
Marcel Dion never won a Stanley Cup, so stay hot, Harry. Max said Jean Beliveau. You said you're getting warm, so I'm going to go with...
You're in the right ballpark. Let's put it that way with Jean Beliveau.
Is it like the Rocket Richard or something?
Even closer.
That was my next guess.
Yeah.
Is it Guy Lafleur?
A little bit further away. Mac was on the right train with Richard.
Okay. So it's like a Canadian. I mean, it's got to be a Canadians guy. Like that.
Right.
That has to be because they won way too many with like the same people.
Who else is like a legendary?
Mm,
I suck with the old names. I'm not.
I
Gonna lie.
can't stress enough how on the right track Mac was when he said the name Richard.
the Pocket Rocket?
Yep.
Oh,
What was his fucking name?
Henri.
Oh, I don't.
For
11 Stanley Cups.
Wow.
I believe that's how many
does
rings
the
Russ
Rocket
won.
have? Like
I think
10
he's
or
got, like,
9 or
I don't know. We're gonna get roasted for this.
Mac or Nick, can you read the full name of the person for people who are like the Pocket Rocket?
Yeah, it's Maurice Richard. So Maurice the Rocket Richard. It's his younger brother, aka the
Mhm.
Pocket Rocket, Henri Richard.
Yeah.
I will fully admit I am not like a very good hockey historian.
I know me
That one,
neither, but
it's old
I
for
only
all of
know
us.
that because of like all the OV Rocket Richard like record stuff. Like I remember watching like a documentary about Maurice and Henri.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I kind of know that name. But
I live for the trivia segment. I really do. I live for this.
Henry's getting cooked. He lives for sorry, not Henry. Harry's getting cooked. He lives for it, but he loses to me.
Shout out you. I would have probably not gotten Datsuk.
Yeah.
I thought Beliveau for sure.
I don't know why. I thought he was like a rookie in like 04 or 05 or something.
3-2 Panthers. Carter Verhaeghe with guys. You want to know what kind of luck I have? I'm an idiot. We're closing the show out with this. I am down a lot of money this postseason. If you follow me on Twitter, you know that. I bet Carter Verhaeghe to have an assist tonight at plus 195 because he has assists in 4 straight games and he scored a fucking goal. So we're going to close the show out with that. Good luck with your round 2 picks. Fade me all you want.
Oh my God.
If you guys don't have any closing notes, we're going to wrap this up.
Let's get out of here.
I got nothing.
All right. Well, without further ado,
Class dismissed.